start with Google Forms, and right away you might think, well, forms aren't really creative, but you can actually use them in some creative ways. One quick reminder, Google Forms are more than just surveys. We've already looked at how they can be used for quizzes, but they can also be used in a number of ways as well, including exit tickets, peer feedback. You can use them for science observations, for students to self-check or track their behavior, and to collect mailing addresses and email addresses from students and parents as well. You can use them for student groups, including welcome forms, maybe also for student clubs, as well as assignment checklists and submissions, parent-teacher conference sign-ups, and student progress or standards tracker. If you look in the presenter's notes, you'll see a link to a resource that's going to provide you with a ton of ideas. I think it's about 30, in fact, for how teachers can use Google Forms. Sometimes it's with students, sometimes it's just for classroom management and efficiency purposes, but there's a ton of ways you can use Google Forms. So check that out for sure. The first creative way we're going to look of how you can use Google Forms is the nonlinear form. When you add sections to a form, it allows you to add questions to each section, and then by linking question answers to a particular section, you can send students to a particular section based on their answers. So think about this. Wrong answers can be linked to a passage or a website that tells the students how the answer they chose was not correct, whereas correct answers might send students just to the next question in the assessment. What you're going to want to do is in Google Forms, along the side toolbar, you're going to want to select the last option to insert a new section, and you might want to title your section as well as give it a description. Descriptions can contain text or web links. You'll click the plus button to add a question, and you can even add pictures and videos if needed. Once you've created the new section with a question or other media, go back to the question that you would like to link to that section. You'll want to click on the three dots in the bottom right corner of the question and choose Go to Section based on answer from the options that come up. Next, for each multiple choice option, use the drop-down menu to select the direction you want the form to go. So right here, I want to make sure you understand this is going to be used with multiple choice questions. The second creative way of using Google Forms that we're going to examine is response validation. This requires students to respond with an exact answer before moving on to the next question. It can be a number, text, or expression. So this option is great when you want students to get to the correct answer before moving on. In other words, you want them to really grapple with their content. And it might be that this is a low-stakes formative and you even allow them to use notes or even open a new tab to look up the answer. But in this case, you want them to make sure that the answer is correct. Using this feature is a great way of incorporating self-checking so that students can confirm that their thinking is correct, or if it's not correct, they can figure out their misconceptions. To use response validation, in this case, you're going to select short response, click the three dots next to required, and then select the type of response validation you want. You can choose from number, text, length, or regular expression. Interested in learning more about Google Classroom? Check out my brand new course, Getting Started with Google Classroom, at my website, mytechnologyclassroom.com.